All right, welcome back to the Environmental Lab podcast. I'm Mike Gomer, your host with LIMS Plus. I'm excited to be here. I have a special guest today from Kearney, Nebraska, a member of Ward Laboratories. Please welcome Ryan Dennhardt. Ryan, how's it going?
Hey, good, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing good. I love your background. I
Hey,
love the
thanks.
logo.
Yeah,
Company guy, which is great. I respect that. I got my logo on, so
all in, man, all in.
yeah, I got this boring background. I need to put something here where I don't know. It's a little bit more exciting. This is too plain, but I'll work on that.
That's a spot for sponsors and stuff like that, maybe.
Hey, if you want to sponsor, you can get a prime spot here. You can get a
There you
prime
go.
spot here. We need some sponsors. That's exactly.
There's real estate available for sure.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ryan. Well, thanks for being here. I want to start off with a quick background on you. Who are you from a science perspective and working in laboratories? How did you get to where you are now with Ward?
Yeah, so I'm the human resource business manager here at Ward Laboratories. Been here for almost 5 years. Um, I got to Ward Laboratories through I managed a few staffing agencies and when some of the positions that Ward had open, I reached out to the president and said, hey, if you'd combine a couple of these positions, I think it'd be a good fit, and the rest is history for me. I've got a background in business. I owned my own business for 7 years, owned a consulting company for about 6 years, worked in retail sales, organizational development, and human resources. So got my master's not too long ago, and I've been working for Ward Laboratories ever since.
I love that. A lot of labs that I work with and talk to is a lot of scientists, right? Really super smart people, but that really like the science of it and
Yeah,
don't spend a lot of time focusing on the fundamental organization of a business. How do you put together a staff? How do you put together a team to make sure that the lab is doing what it needs to do to deliver results for its clients? So it's an interesting position and kind of unique for this industry.
yeah.
So what are the kind of things that you drive for Ward? How do you help it improve its business model?
Yeah, so I mean, you really hit the nail on the head when it comes to like laboratory staff, and we have tons of brilliant minds and technical experts and soil scientists. I mean, just all kinds of phenomenal people here. But from a human resource perspective, right? So for me, it's twofold, right? So I'm human resources party of one. We've got 48 employees. We'll have 50 here in the next couple of days. But so I manage all the human resources, right? So the foundational level benefits, those kind of things. But also, a big thing for me was, um, I'm an extrovert, right? I'm a people person. I'm a doc, clearly, right? I'm a so just getting people to communicate in ways that are effective for multiple different types of folks, right? A lot of analytical folks in the lab, and so really working. I focus a lot of time on the communication side of things and helping people kind of navigate those things, soft skills, leadership, all those things that are the fun parts of human resources and people development and things like that. I also lead all of the sales team and the customer service folks. So for me, it's I work a lot of after hours on developing leads and trying to uncover opportunities and figuring out ways that we can be a fit for organizations and then passing those leads on to my team, who are the experts, the agronomists and the scientists, things like that. So it's really it is a unique role, and it's something that I get to put all of my skills to work in one combined opportunity. So it's been a really good fit for me.
That's great. I think that's a key thing for people now. A lot of labs, environmental labs, water labs, whatever the case may be, don't always have the best focus on driving samples and driving volume and driving that business back to them. And it sounds like it's really paying off for Ward. So I want to talk more about that.
Okay.
Before I do, just give me an overview about what Ward does. I know, a lot of soil, a lot of ag stuff, but what is the general, how do you serve your clients?
Yeah, so we are a full service ag testing facility. So we do soil health, plant tissue, water, manure, fertilizer, feed, NIR, the whole 9 yards. I mean, and we test so many different things. And thankfully that those agriculture tests translate to other industries. We do a lot of water testing for households. I would confidently say that we're the industry leader in water testing for breweries. So we do a lot of water testing for craft brewers, which is really exciting. Fun for me, I have a background in the coffee industry, so the beverage side of things and the preparation of those things are right up my alley. But we serve our customers. For us, we want to make sure that we're providing unbiased data so that ranchers, producers, researchers can make necessary decisions on their operations to see return on investment, to see to be able to track the changes they're making from a management perspective and practices changes, and really just be able to say, hey, listen, what can I do to be more sustainable? What kind of things can I do from a carbon capture perspective? And we're here for all of it, right? We're the industry leader in soil health. We are, second to none in carbon testing as well. And so I feel like we've got a really good foundation set that we can accommodate about anything and meet producers where they're at. I think that's the big part, right? You don't have to be X or you don't have to be Y for us to meet your needs. We can do that. We provide, like I said, unbiased data, which is always has been something we've done for a long time. All of our consulting is free, so you get the results. And if you're not a soil chemist and it doesn't make a ton of sense at face value, you give us a call. Number one, we answer the phone, which I think is also key, and we'll talk you through it and make agronomic recommendations and things like that.
That's awesome. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So why do your customers come to you and stay with you? Like, what do you provide that they like? What do they get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question, right? So we've been in business since 1983. So I think loyalty certainly is part of it. I mean, but loyalty only goes so far. At some point, you've got to find other ways to meet a customer's needs and things like that. And you've got to execute with excellence on the things that you promised that you're going to do, and really make sure that you're providing. Again, number one, we've got to have good data. You got to be able to trust the data, and I'll tell anybody anywhere in any platform that our data is second to none. Our QA/QC process is extremely layered. It's extremely detailed. Every result we send gets reviewed by a human. So if there's outliers, things like that. So number one, our foundational level is the data, the science and the data. We also aren't going to sell you something, right? So we're here to sell a service. We're giving you, like I said before, unbiased data, and you can choose where to spend your dollars past that, right? We're not linked to any other companies. And so I think those are the two big things. But our customer service, we go above and beyond. We're a big enough company that we get samples from all over the world. We're a small enough company that we can be flexible, right? So if you want to run specific tests that maybe not in our traditional suite of tests, we can do those things for you. So we provide a lot of flexibility and customization to our services to a certain extent, and I think that's a big part of it. We really work hard to retain our customers through, again, our customer service and customer retention type things. I always ask myself, what does somebody want in their relationship with their laboratory, right? Maybe they don't want all of the things that we're trying to do, and maybe some days it works and some days it don't, but we're sure going to do the best we can to make sure that you're happy, you're taken care of, and that we're providing service that is second to none.
I think they trust you. I think they my guess, without talking to any of your clients, is that they feel that you understand their mission and you're going to help them get there, and they trust you.
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
Being a trusted partner is huge, right? So we have a lot of really talented people that provide a lot of education for folks that create that trusted partnership, right? Like, I can trust that Ward Laboratories knows what they're talking about. Here's the science to back it. Here's the white papers, whatever the case may be. But we try to be that in multiple facets of our business, right? So whether we're helping an organization with leadership or whatever the case may be, right? We can provide a multi-dimensional partnership that does create that trust. And I think that that's unique. And the fact that we're willing to do that, I also think is unique. And hopefully more organizations can take on that approach as well.
So let's go back to the sales thing for a second, because I think that is a valuable topic for our listeners. And I think about it in two ways. And I want you to tell me if you agree and then talk about your approach.
Yeah.
Me, it's like you've got an existing customer base who maybe it's something as simple as communicating that they're due for another round of testing. And then you've got the other side of it, which is just open market people who have never dealt with you in the past, but maybe they have a farm or maybe they've got a well or whatever the case may be. And those two segments are approachable markets that need to be, you need to go after them in different ways.
Yeah.
You think about those two segments, and if so, what are your kind of techniques and tactics for for driving volume and driving revenue in for your lab?
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of, I try not to sound too salesy, right? But I've been in retail wireless sales. So if anybody's walked into a cell phone store and, weren't sold 10 different things, right? So my sales background is very much salesy, 100%. But when I adjusted into this environment, it's so everything is an opportunity, right? So we've got a couple different opportunities, and like you said, our current customer base. So when you look at our current customer base, if we can organically grow that customer base, it really allows us to provide a better experience for the customers that already trust us, right? So for example, to your point, well, I'm a farmer who's got all of these acres that we already do your soil tests. Well, you've also got irrigation water that we can do irrigation water quality, right? So how do we kind of be your one-stop shop for all the things that you may have needs for? So we focus a lot on that. The low-hanging fruit, and again, no disrespect to our customers by saying the low-hanging fruit, right? But the opportunities that are right in front of us are the customers that we currently have. They understand what we can do. They understand how good we are at it. Now let's find opportunities to help them and meet their needs in the other areas of their business, whether that be farmers who also have livestock, right? So there's feed testing opportunities. There's manure testing opportunities. There's compost. Maybe they irrigate. Okay, well, let's do irrigation water quality or livestock suitability water testing. So now you've taken a customer that averages 15 tests a year to 30 tests a year. So we look at it, when you look at the current customer base and organically growing that is a very easy place to start. Now, whether you're successful in it or not, it's twofold. You get to work on your customer retention with multiple touch points, but you also can grow the customers that already trust you. So that's one piece of it.
How do you execute on that? So I love your content. You guys put out great content. It's useful. I enjoy it. It's pleasing. It's pleasant to consume. So that's probably one angle. Do you have, are you reaching out to these farmers? Are you sending them emails? Like tactically, how are you getting, you're using this piece of what we offer. There's so much more. How do you get that message to them?
Yeah, so kind of all the above, right? So the ag industry is unique in the sense that there's certain timing is everything, So I tell my team, it's like, hey, listen, if we want to try to attract soil samples in the spring, we should probably be trying to make that connection in the fall, right? So you got to kind of work through that, but also, I think you got to make the effort, right? You got to pick up the phone. You got to make a visit. And I think you got to focus on the retention side of it first. Let's make sure that as a customer running the basic test that you're running or whatever service you choose to use with us, we want to make sure that we are executing with excellence in that space, right? And then once we get past that, then we can start talking about other things that we can do. But basically, we want to have discovery conversations with the customers. I mean, we try to call everybody, right? We have specific time frames. It's like, okay, we're going to do customer retention work here. We look at the numbers, right? Who are our largest customers and what kind of samples are they running? So we do a lot of strategic things that way. But really, in order to organically grow your customer base, you got to start with customer retention. So we focus on, we send out the education via email blasts or newsletters and social media, but we're also making phone calls. We're also, hey, we got this test, have any questions? So we try to handle it that way too. We go to trade show, so when you look at like organically growing your customers, we go to trade shows, we get to see a lot of our customers. So for example, I'm lucky enough to get to go to all the craft brewer conferences. I take one for the team in that regard.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we went to New York. We kind of coupled it with a visit to a customer that we do business with in New York. I also spoke on leadership at that conference, but we had probably 100 different people that came up to us and were like, we use you all the time. And this was in Albany, New York, right? It's like, wow, you don't tie that together like, oh, let's go to New York for more of a customer retention than a new business opportunity, right? And so really we had the opportunity to see our customers, meet them exactly in their backyard and have those conversations. So we do a lot of that stuff too, and knowing that our customers are going to be there. So I guess to segue into your second part of that is the generating of the new business, right? So that's a unique one. I think for me, it's as easy as finding opportunities, right? Somebody posts a picture with a different lab's soil bag on it, and it's like, all right, well, they obviously are soil testing, so let's give them a call or figure it out. So we do a lot of lead generation that way by finding different things out there. We reach out to a lot of, let's say we'll just use Ted Turner's ranch, for example. He's got millions of acres, right? There's got to be opportunities somewhere. So we just kind of pick and choose how we look at that, and then determine strategically, all right, well, where do we start, right? Do we start in the grazeland testing? Do we start on the soil? Do we, where can we make the biggest impact? We work with reach out to a lot of carbon programs, folks that are have big carbon projects where they're paying people for sequestered carbon, things like that. I mean, it's just like anything, right? We don't get a list of leads. We go to a trade show and we have to generate those leads on our own, right? We make sure that we're doing a lot of business to business sales. I think when you look at like new customers, for me, it's a trade show is twofold, right? I want to talk to people and get booth traffic, but it's also a way for me to go business to business to business, right? Because those guys are there to sell as well. So me talking to another business about potential partnerships and opportunities, it's not something that is foreign or frowned upon, because that's the purpose, right? So if we can capture a business and their customers, it makes things a lot easier for us, right? And so we like to directly deal with the farmer and serve the farmer, but we also know that we serve more farmers indirectly through other, whether it be a co-op or a program, and still can meet our goals and mission by serving the customer that way.
Do you have an outbound sales team that's picking up the phone and calling, or
so we do. Yeah, they wear multiple hats, right? So they're agronomists, they're business development managers, they're account reps. So I mean, they do a lot of things. They spend time managing accounts in office, but they also spend time on the road, customer calls, customer visits, things like that. So we've got two dedicated salespeople for that. And then, of course, I do some of that. And then we've got our marketing manager who participates. And we've got our animal scientist participates in those kind of activities from the feed perspective as well. So, I mean, we've got a team of folks, but two dedicated people that go out.
So let me shift gears here. And I want to ask you a couple more questions before we wrap. One of the things that always comes up in this, and one of the things that is present now because of some changes from the EPA and other things going on, is there's a lack of education for consumers about what it takes to test their utilities, test water, air, soil, all that stuff, and how much goes into it. I expect the water that comes out of my spigot to be good. I trust it. What is the gap between consumer knowledge and everything that goes behind the scenes to make sure that it's clean and safe before they consume it?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Everybody just trusts that what it is what it is. And I think it all kind of depends on who your source of truth is, right? So when I look at like water testing, for example, there's a lot of municipalities that will test your water for you every year and give you a basic report. And I think there's value in that. But again, if you want to take it even further and determine, okay, what's really going on here, right? There's additional ways that you can do that for a very reasonable cost, right? And when you look at big picture, that it has a lot of value. So for us as a laboratory, again, it's like, well, what do you want with your relationship from your lab? We know that testing soil is a lot more than just give us the soil and get back the data. So we don't focus as much on like the logistics of the in between, but more so on the value of the data provided. And I think that's where the education that we provide to our customers, it's like, hey, here's why, and I'll just throw out some generic ones, right? Like, here's why lime quality matters, right? Here's why you may not need as much fertilizer as your fertilizer salesman or whatever the case may be is telling you that you need. And we're not here to tell you not to buy it, but we're here to, give you
honest feedback
to stand on, right? So I think for us, it's about just educating on in a digestible form as why the data matters, right? You're going to go spend hundreds of $1,000s on biological inputs for your field, which may work amazing, but here's what you can do to trust, but verify that product, right? So again, we're not saying the product doesn't work. For all we know, it works fantastic, but maybe it doesn't. And if you want to find that out, we can help you. And that's why we target the business, right? Because we want a biologic company to say, hey, here's the data on this test that this trial that we ran with Ward Laboratories. It's unbiased. They're not here to sell you this product, but here's what the data says.
Sure.
And we can help in a lot of ways that way, right? So education is a huge part of it. You have to be able to tell people why the data matters, why more data matters, and sometimes it doesn't, but in some cases it does. The beer industry is a big one. Why more of a comprehensive water report matters to your beers, because every single mineral in your water dictates flavor and sensory and all of it, right? Your beer is 90% water. Your coffee is 98% water. Why are we not focused on all of the things that the water has to offer? And not only that, but like if you've got good water, if your city has good water, let's take advantage of it. Let's use the minerals that are in it to create this amazing product. So a lot of that, it's just the education has to be there, and you have to be able to show value of the data, because if the data doesn't matter to somebody, then the test doesn't matter.
I think we're landing on something brilliant here. I think what we got to do is tell people that we can improve the taste of their beer with cleaner water. Nobody cares about safety for their family or their kids. Just tell them their beer will taste better.
I tell everybody, when you send, because we test finished product too, right? So we can test the water and then we can test the beer. I tell them, if you're going to test, you got to send 6, because the next 5 go to the sensory side of things. But it translates to everything, right? It's literally like, why does the data matter for my irrigation water quality? Well, you might not need to apply as much nitrogen to your field because there's nitrogen in your water, or phos, or something that you can actually use to your benefit. And I think those are the kind of things that we need to help people understand is why that matters in comparison to just checking a box.
This is great. I love it. I want to wrap up with one last question. You're a passionate guy. It feels to me like you enjoy what you're doing. What's the favorite part of your job, if I'm right about that?
Yeah, I do love my job. I love the company. The favorite part is that every service that we provide has value to almost everybody, right? If you may not know it today, but there is value in everything that we do. But I think the philosophies in which we do things and the reasoning behind it and our why is really what drives my excitement. I don't have a problem going out and trying to attract new business to Ward Laboratories, because I know that the foundation of integrity that we stand on is going to trump anything else that's out there, right? And I'm sure this is people would say that about their business too, but I always tell people, if I believe in something, I can sell it. And I don't have to sell this. I just have to continue to like build off of what's already been created. And I think that's the exciting part. And then of course the human resource. I love people. I'm a people guy. I love to see people see their full potential. And here at Ward Laboratories, the sky's the limit when it comes to that. So all of those things are exciting for me.
I love that. You're an honest guy. You've got a lot of integrity, and you are proud of where you work, and that's obvious. Ryan Dennhardt, thank you for being on the show. If people want to find out more about Ward, where do they go? Wardlabs.com?
Yep. Just wardlab.com, singular. And then of course all of our social media is open. Everything's there. You can all of our emails are on the website too. So if you're looking for me specific, you can just find me under About Us and People, and then my email should be right there for you. Just click on my face and you'll find it.
It's been great having you. Thanks for being on the show. This is the Environmental Lab Podcast. I'm Mike Gomer. That's Ryan Dennhardt.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much.